what is the tempo of your life? What's the tempo of your team? Yeah, tempo matters, right? So what are we trying to accomplish together? What are you accomplishing in relationship to others? Let's find the beat next.
Welcome to the Educators Among Us podcast, where we share motivational messages and inspiring stories for and about educators. Your host, Scott Barron, is author of the critically acclaimed book, Love 'Em and Lead 'Em, and provides powerful insights and wisdom for those who heed the call to teach, coach, lead, and serve at all levels of education.
This is Scott Barron, and I'm honored to be your host for the Educators Among Us podcast, where we love to give you some perspective and some insights that hopefully encourage you in your role as an educator, regardless of what level in terms of the organization or in the age group of the students that you serve. If you're connected to a school, whether you're on the board, you're a teacher, you're an administrator, you coach, you provide other types of support, you're a volunteer, you are vital to the learning and the growth of other people. And so we're so thankful that you make that commitment, that you show up, that you're there every day, bringing your best. And that's the challenge we all have, because the work of an educator is hard. It involves a lot of human interactions and resolving conflict and working through challenges together as we're raising students as well as parents and adults and colleagues and others. It's a journey. And so we're thankful that you're on that journey and that you're committed to be there for others, to stand in the gap, to be prepared, and to walk it with them. And that's what we try to do with you, is to be a part of that journey with you as you overcome the challenges and you're learning and you're figuring it out and solving the problems. And that's actually the thing that we enjoy so much about our work, is we get to travel a lot. I'm back in our studio in Atlanta today. And so we're able to kind of, working on some things here, and then we head back out on the road later today to work with some schools and help them navigate some of the challenges that they're running up against, start to do some strategic planning and school improvement planning. And, it's a challenge, of course, but it's also, you got to find some type of joy in the work. and that work, there's different paces of work, right? As we get to travel, of course, we travel about 45 weeks out of the year. Tammy and I do, and we get to visit with educators and walk those campuses. And when you're driving, sometimes when we're driving, right, driving the speed limit sometimes. It can be hard, because everybody's like flying past, right? There's this pace of life out there when you pull on the entry to the interstate, and some, when you get out there, some are stubbornly going at their own pace, regardless of the lane that they're in and what's happening around them. They're just kind of locked into their world, and while others are like going kind of really dangerously weaving through traffic, and they're not going to let anyone or anything get in their way. Their pace, their tempo is different. And so one of the things we want to kind of reflect on today is this idea of tempo, right? Ray Stevens, the entertainer, once said the human brain is a funny thing. Right? It's very susceptible to tempo and melody. You put the right words to it, and it becomes very influential. Music is very influential, and so when you think about it, right? Tempo is essential. It's essential to our well-being, as well as of our schools and the organizations that we serve. It's essential because it's the glue. It brings all of the elements of us, of our being, into harmony. A harmony together, and harmony is typically a beautiful thing when we can really find a purposeful harmony, and we're in it on the same note together, or we are harmonized in a way that everything, it just sounds beautiful, right? And that harmony, that tempo allows us to optimize our relationships and more more successfully accomplish our goals. Right? Tempo is important, and finding the right tempo requires sensitivity to our spiritual and our mental well-being. Tempo, right? So Thomas Merton said, we must slow down to a human tempo, and we'll begin to then have time to listen, right? To listen, to listen to ourselves, to listen to our minds and our bodies and our hearts and our souls, right? We're way more complex sometimes than we give ourselves credit for. And being able to listen and make adjustments, it's a critical part of learning and of education, right? And so the best way is as we get to visit schools and work through different challenges, the best way to get to the feel of a campus and its culture is to attentively walk it. Right. You can walk through the hallways and the classrooms and kind of see how people are interacting. What's the culture? How do they really believe? And I get what they say on the signs and on the website and the things, but what do they really believe? And as you walk through, you get a feel for that. You get to see, sort of the ways that they really work together and some of the interactions. And if you hang out long enough, it's not just a speed walk, right? The tempo of the walk, it makes a difference. We're not just rushing through the campus, but we're just kind of, what does it feel like? What does it smell like? What do you hear? What's happening? What's the vibe? Right. And the vibe on the campus has a significant impact on the educators and of course on the students, right? And how effectively we accomplish the goal, because each school, it has a particular style of music, right? With a cadence and a coordination. Sometimes they're all kind of doing their own thing. Everybody's kind of within their own sphere, within their classroom and their office, and they're kind of doing their thing. And sometimes they collide or sometimes they coordinate, right? And they kind of figure it out. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they stay isolated, and schools unfortunately can sometimes become a collection of silos or islands, and there's not a lot of synchronization together, and that's hard because tempo, it's an important adjustment that we make together because it affects the quality of our thinking, us individually as well as collectively. It affects the rhythm of our behavior, right? When we're in sync, we have a more capacity for love and joy, to genuinely not only love the job but love people and to find joy even in the challenges, right? That tempo allows us to synchronize with others and create something that we can't do individually. It gives us that ability to create and to play something that you can't do on your own. You can't do solo. You can't do just with riffing, right? Playing on your own and just kind of making it up as you go, but having an intentionality that we're playing together. We may complain, and we often do, right, about the harried tempo of our lives. We're always people to see, places to go, things to do. But this frenetic pace, right? This frenetic pace, especially in our schools, it's just a reflection of the education system that we've created and allowed to dominate. We get to make those choices, and how we use time. How we use time is a critical element of our success and the impact that we have in our communities. It matters. Teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. That's Andrew Carnegie, right? Teamwork is the fuel. It's what allows. It creates the energy that allows common people with just, we're all common. We all have, gifts and a lot of our gifts overlap, just common people to attain uncommon, even remarkable excellence and results. right? It takes a team. You're not going to do this individually. And especially when it comes to school life and educators, our work happens together. It happens as a part, not of individual work, but as a part of a collective organization, as a part of a symphony, perhaps. Right? So some respond to a different beat, right? And they as I say, they march to the beat of a different drummer, right? Well, but that can disrupt the group's harmony and balance. Right? They can actually take away from what the larger picture. Of course, what dictates that is the context, right? The context compels our tempo, and we're wise when we can recognize that and and get in sync. That takes time. It takes time, to do that. But we recognize the best educators, the most effective educators. They recognize when it's time to get on the same beat with the colleagues around us, and also when we then have the leeway to improvise. Yeah, it's a wisdom. It's a discernment that's required to recognize the tempo. There are times when we get to kind of do our thing, and there's times when we have to be together. We have to find that harmony and be on the same beat, on the same measure, on the same page with our colleagues and our leadership. That's just part of growing up, of being a leader. Listen, none of us is as intelligent as an integrated team. A team of people who trust each other, who deeply have connection. They trust each other. They're willing to be vulnerable to each other, right? And enough to willingly and purposefully align their talents, their energy, and their priorities, right? They take their talents and educators are remarkably talented. They're smart people, and they know how to learn. They know how to inspire others. They know how to connect. They know how to even take new technologies and content and strategies and create something even better. They're very extraordinarily creative, and they have an energy, right, and a motivation and an intrinsic desire to want to be present for others and to make their life better, to empower their path, right? And then they also choose their priorities. And man, when we willingly and purposefully align our talents, energy, and priorities, that's when amazing things happen, right? That group of people will always achieve greater results, even when faced with really difficult situations. So find the tempo this week. Find the right tempo this week, my friend. Listening in the moment to adjust and align to attain uncommon results. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your commitment to be there, to be present. And we have with opportunity this fall. There's been many schools that are facing some just really difficult challenges, and we've had a chance to walk with them and coach them through that and figure out a way forward. And I just want to encourage you to know that you're not alone in this. You've got people who believe in you, who want the best for you, who are praying for you. And we do just want you to know and have a confidence in that, to know that you're walking this journey with others, even though sometimes it can feel very lonely. You're not. You're surrounded by other people who deeply care and want the best for you, and we're here with you and love being a part of your journey as you go through and you take it on. You embrace the moments and sometimes embrace the feedback as well, and find ways to grow. Right? It's easy to talk about a growth mindset, but it's growing can be painful. Growing can require us to make adjustments that sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable in the moment, but we can do it. And thank you for your commitment to be there. Hey, as you're going through this week, a coaching question to consider, right? Did I do my best to find the right tempo today? Did I do my best to find the right tempo today? Thank you for all that you do. Love him and lead him, my friend. This is Scott.
Thank you for joining us for the Educators Among Us podcast and for your courageous commitment to this noble calling. We get you and the challenges of this work. To stay connected with this community, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and weekly encouragement at educatorsamongus.com.